No matter how many times I've tried, I've never been able to successfully describe myself. I have never been able to express with words who David McGriff is. I've spent time thinking about it, and I have found that who I am and what I am is not something that can be said and understood, but something that must be felt. David McGriff is the feeling of competing with a strained oblique or with stitches because your team needs you. David McGriff is the feeling of emptiness after the loss of your granddad, the man who taught you how to be a winner. Being David McGriff is the feeling of exhaustion after a long session in the weight room. Loving your team, loving your family, loving your sport, loving your country, and hating only those who would do harm to them. All of these things and more are what it means to feel like me and to be me. I am black. My race has motivated me to get past obstacles in my life that have seemed insurmountable. The history of blacks in the United States inspires me. Remembering them in February and in my daily life reminds me to put forth my best. Their sacrifices paved the highway for me to run towards success in our world. They were not given the clean, straight road that I have, nor did they receive a simple dirt path. They had to get through a wilderness, the strife, and pain in their lives, but they still managed to become great men and women. With that in mind, I have no excuse not to become great. I have no excuse to not change our world in some way for the better. I have no excuse to not help somebody and possibly change their life. I know that nothing less is expected of me. I will not be yet another black who just sits around and does the bare minimum. There's nothing to add to the legacy that has been written for our race, by a race, in this country. There are friends who change your life, friends that make you stay the same, and there are friends that make you want to become more than you are. Crystal Rossi, Kyle Phillips, and Brendan Jager were such friends. Throughout all of high school, all I ever wanted to do was reach the elite level that these guys were at in track. I wanted to win like they did. I wanted to be ranked as high as they were ranked. I wanted to get the recognitions they received. Through all the hard work I put into becoming an elite, I finally reached their level. I'm in the papers next to them. I'm recognized as one of Hunter Central's top athletes, and I'm happy. But it's not the papers that make me happy. I'm happy because I'm appreciated by my team. I can walk into the throwing circle and be the difference between victory and defeat by a wide margin. I can truly help my team now, and I can make a meaningful difference at meets. My team makes more trips down to the throwing area now too, and them occasionally taking the time to see me means more than if the rest of the world came to see me. This is because I care more about my team than the entire world. An event that changed my life forever happened my freshman year, through my first season of track. It was the second week of April. The Hunter Central boys track team was at the Colts Neck High School for the first annual Colts Neck Relays. After 2 weeks of doing an event that I had despised and stunk at, I'd finally made the cut for the sprinting relay B teams. I was running the 200 legs for the 4x2 and the SMR. I was also signed up for long jump, but I skipped it because I was a big shot now and I didn't need to jump anymore. My first race was the 4x2, in which I was the third leg, and I would be receiving the baton from James Montebianco. I got the baton in last place and immediately started running as fast as I could. I was a good deal faster than the kid in front of me, and I moved to pass him in the second lane. He must have heard me coming because he moved into the second lane before I had the chance to pass him and he cut me off. To not run him over, I had to slow down and skip for a few strides. I ended up never passing him, and I ran a horrible race. My team ended up in last. My coach was mad at me because I made a bunch of stupid mistakes that led to me running poorly. I was upset too. I was upset because I felt like I let everybody down. I felt useless compared to the older guys on the team that could walk onto the track and become race changers. I realized that I couldn't contribute to the team as I was. That night, while I was taking a shower, I was overwhelmed with a feeling of inferiority and uselessness. It upset me to the point of tears, and I cried, wishing that I could support the team, and if not, at least perform in a way that I could make myself worthy of wearing the Hunter Central red and black. I prayed to God to help me become more than I was. I prayed to God to give me the strength of body and of heart to work harder every day and become an asset to the team. Because of my lowest moment as an athlete, I wasn't thinking about setting records, making the newspaper, going to a D1 school, qualifying for nationals, or even pride in my last name. All I wanted was to be able to support my team, my brothers, my people that gave me work. That desire changed everything and made me able to bring forth a brighter future for both myself and for the Hunterdon Central boys track team. That desire made me into arguably the hardest working person on the team. Wanting to do my school proud drove me to set school records, drove me to being in the school paper, drove me to going to a D1 school, to qualifying for nationals, to building up my family name, and most importantly, winning team championships. I've everything I've ever wanted at that moment and much, much more. The lowest moment in my athletic life was instrumental in me rising to do more than I ever could have imagined. I spent the last 10 years of my life in the house I live in now. It is a townhouse that is not large or fancy in any way, shape, or form, but has taught me to love and appreciate what I am fortunate enough to have. Corny as it sounds, it is more important who's in the house than how big it is. I moved to Flemington back when I was a shy second grader. I only had about 3 friends back in my old town, and I didn't talk much even when I was around them. The neighborhood that I live in now was full of kids my age. When my parents started forcing me to go outside, I learned to be social with the other kids in my neighborhood. We had neighborhood bike races, water gun fights, built forts, and even had a war. The kids in my neighborhood were the first step in me becoming the only slightly socially awkward person I am today. Lastly, there's my church, a community of people that wake up early in the morning, sit down in pews, and boldly face the wrath of God. The people of my church made me into the black person I am today. They are all the exact opposite of black people seen on television. There are several doctors, and a few of them are professors at Princeton University. They showed me that the color of my skin does not determine how smart I am or can be. A firm belief that I hold that there is no such thing as luck. Good fortune is a result of preparation. Good fortune comes to those who are ready for it, those who are prepared. Those who work hard to prepare are usually the ones who are in the right place at the right time. What is usually written off as good luck is someone seeing an opportunity and seizing it. Hard workers are not just always looking for opportunities, they're making them. They never let them go by because workers and preparers are people who are actively engaged in making their dreams come true. There are people who are taking steps every day to be in the right place at the right time. From football players who recover fumbles because they hustled with the ball, to even just Tyra Banks, who landed a modeling job on a plane because of her passport picture. Opportunities are being seized by people every day who are ready for it to come knocking. That is why I don't believe in luck.